It's not a trivia question today. It's a warning. The next time you go to the state fair, stay away from the game where you try to flip the rubber chicken into the pot. I hate that game! And one last thing before my final cock-a-doodle-doo!
When I think of the memories, my favorite growing up that like were just super cool and the trips were so inspiring to me was the first one was when we went to Italy. That was amazing. That was so cool because I was obsessed with this movie called Van Helsing at the time. And it's got Hugh Jackman in it, Kate Beckinsale. I watched it. I had a little PSP and I had the little small disc of Van Helsing. There's like this hidden group of like secretive priests underneath the Vatican. And I watched that scene over and over again, and I kept telling myself when I get to the Vatican, I was, trying to find all the little hidden candelabras, maybe pull something and find the secret priest's chamber. I forget what they were called in the movie, but and then going to Steamboat was amazing. Skiing and snowboarding and doing all that was such a blessing. And was so fun, and we did that a lot throughout my childhood. And then the Halloween parties that Mom threw for me, or my friends. My friends still talk about them, and now we kind of do our own Halloween party every year with doing the same thing, going back to Screams where we used to go.
So our grandparents would take us to go camping quite often. And we would have to survive in tents. And that was a lot of fun. But as I got older, I was like, I'm more of a glamping person, to be honest. But we would go camping. I have two brothers, my older one, Jarrett, my younger one, Carson. And because of them, I learned that the outside is a fun place. And my parents would take us to Disney World and Universal Studios several times. But like my favorite thing that we would do as a family would be going to the state fair because I love food. I love food, and I still go to the state fair as often as I can, whenever it's open. So Steven and I met from using Hinge. That's a dating app, and their slogan, I don't know it word for word, but it's basically the app that's meant to be deleted, the dating app that's meant to be deleted. And I was actually going in to delete the app. And when I went in to go delete the app, I saw a response from Steven because I had responded to one of his prompts that he can put on his profile.
I had a prompt that it was me singing because it said it gave you all these different prompts to do, and there was a recording, one that you could record your voice, and my voice prompt was like, and I made the singing voice really bad, and I was like, this is the sound of the angels singing when the day we meet, and she liked that.
And I said, okay, I give it one more try. And said a little prayer. I said, Lord, let this one be okay. Let this one be saved. And so he called at 9 p.m. and I answered, and then it turned into like a FaceTime date.
When she first got on camera, I was like, oh my gosh, this girl's beautiful. I'm a little nervous because you're stuck on FaceTime, And then we FaceTimed, and then went well.
And then after that, he planned our first in-person date. Our first date, he had told me where to park, and he said there's usually always parking in this area, and then he came and he met me where I had parked, and then he walked me over to our first date. It was in a parking garage. And then he walked me over to the first date, and then he also planned the restaurant to be a German Austrian cafe because in our first conversation we had, I hadn't left the USA yet. So he was like, oh, I gotta give you some type of different experience. So he said, let's go to this German food restaurant. It's called Jorg's. It's in downtown downtown Plano. Him putting so much thought into that first date, he had planned the whole night, so it was very sweet. And then he walked me back to my car, and he stayed there and made sure that I made it out of the parking spot and didn't hit any other cars. I mean, he's a funny guy. He's just funny all the time. But,
First date was great. We drew each other pictures because there was just a sheet of white paper that I guess the food was gonna go on, and she had a pen, so she started drawing, I started drawing. I think I drew the better picture personally. The fact that I was able to throw a really off-color joke out there by accident and she accepted it and didn't punish me and went on another date with me. I was like, oh my gosh, I could not. It had to do with homeless people, I'll say that much. And I'd forgotten that she was like super active in feeding the homeless and all that. And it was really off-color and bad. It was bad. And she let it slide. So I'm thankful for that.
well, we went out to the ranch to try and film some quick videos and take some pictures for Willie and the Wild Cards. And there's actually a video that I got, and nobody told him to do this, but he got to a point where you could kind of see the hills out in front of him, and then he just opened his arms wide, and he's like, I love this life.
I love my life!
And I was like, nobody got that on film. And we needed content for the Willie and the Wild Cards Instagram page. So I was like, I pulled up my phone and I got the last few words of it, but then I was like, do it again, we need it for content, and it's in the video. And so he did it again, and then they posted it everywhere.
Funny story, I think it was our second date. I'm almost positive it was the second date. My phone had died, and so there was no way for me to let her know that I made it there or even had shown up. And the parking lot was packed, so I was like, I'm never gonna find her. And I feel like most girls on first, second date, they're not super inclined to just get out of their car and walk to the restaurant on themselves. They're waiting on the guy to be like, hey, I'm here, and I'm either at the table or I'm in the parking lot, we'll walk in together. And to her, I just looked like a complete no-show. But luckily, I saw her trying to call me, and she was kind of walking around trying to look for me. So I saw her, thankfully, and I got out of my car, I hollered at her, we walked in. Well, on top of that, the date was good, we had a great time, but at the end, I was like, I don't have my wallet. So she had to pay for it. She paid for it. And to be honest, I don't think I paid her back.
Every time he plays the drums, everybody tells him that he looks like that Muppet guy. That I don't even remember, what's his name? Animal, I think, because his hair is flying everywhere. And I found a video of the Muppet playing drums, and I mashed it up with a video of Steve, and it looks exactly the same. And he's just going absolute nuts on the drums and hair flying everywhere, drumsticks just twirling in the air.
I remember I was the one that made just kind of a blatant remark one time. We were just hanging out, and I was like, I want to marry you. I just do. I really, really, I just want to marry you. And I remember she was like, I want to marry you too, which was good.
I remember one time I did call him, though, and I was like, all right, so you said this a few months ago, are you serious about it?
Yeah, I think there was one of those.
I was like, is it true?
Yeah.
I was the first one to say I love you.
That's true. She did say I love you first, and it was really unexpected for me, because I feel like that's one of those things, especially in today's world of dating. It's when do you say I love you? Is that gonna freak the person out, or is it gonna feel good? Are they gonna reciprocate? And I was leaving her place, it was raining.
Really bad.
Yeah, it was pouring down rain. I thought she was gonna say drive safe or something, but she was like, I love you.
It's also what I thought.
And then
I was going to say.
I didn't say anything back because I wasn't sure if that's actually what she said or not. So I just left her place, completely left her hanging when I got home, and it was just a awkward, well, I just wanted to let you know that I meant what I said, but I didn't mean it. Like, I didn't mean for it to come out like that. And I just called her right then and told her it was all good and that I loved her too. But now I really love you. Then I wasn't so sure. I just didn't want to make you feel bad.
I literally thought I was saying drive safe, and then I said I love you.
It must just run in the family because one time, it was like the third time I had hung out with her parents or something, maybe fourth or fifth, I can't remember, but I was leaving her place and maybe, I'm pretty sure he said it to me, maybe it was to you. We were walking out and her dad was just like, yep, love ya. I was like, what? I was like, oh, see you soon, Mr. Everett. That one caught me off guard. So they're loving people.
There was a time that I thought it was happening December 15th. And then you like called me up and you were basically like, you need to make sure you have your hairs and nails.
Well, yeah, because
sooner.
Richard, my cousin, did his proposal like the weekend I was gonna do it. So I was like, whatever, I'll just push it back another weekend. It worked out fine.
It worked out fine. It worked out. It was fun.
But how did I do it?
So you took me to the ranch and you said, I'm gonna drop you right here. And I stayed at the house for a little bit, got ready, because I figured that you were gonna be proposing. And then you had called a good buddy, Kevin, to come out and be our photographer.
Which worked out terribly, but
we
got
had
pictures.
Photos. His truck broke down. He something left a cap off something.
Truck broke down. He made it because we were trying to get it at golden hour, so we're trying to take these photos, and it's December, so the sun's dead in like 5:45. I think he got to the ranch at like 5:30, and like I'd already set everything up. He rolled up. I signaled, or I started going back, got Kinsey, said okay, took her to the spot. We barely got the pictures done. And we were so happy with them when they were getting taken because we were looking at the camera and everything looked amazing. But when he actually plugged them all in, his camera's aperture, whatever setting, was busted, and like we were just complete blurs in every single photo. We're blurs in every photo, and the only reason that we're not for some is because one video was taken on an iPhone. Oh yeah, and then he and she used some AI to like get rid of the blur. So like the pictures of us that are gonna be shown from engagement were AI. It's not us.
They're us.
So it didn't happen.
We'll recreate them.
Yeah. No, we didn't want to recreate it or do it.
No, it was so sweet.
It was
he set
really
up
fun.
a cute little bench and he played the guitar and
we had charcuterie out.
Yeah, and he wrote me a sweet letter and played the guitar while I was reading the letter that he wrote me. And then
we just had a nice picnic for about 10 minutes.
And then it got too cold.
And then we froze and it got dark, and then we went into Granbury. And
then we went to another German restaurant.
That's true, yeah.